Alrighty guys, welcome back to another LEGO set review from BrickByBrick, and today we have set number 75217. This is the Imperial Conveyex transport, containing 622 pieces and retailing for $89.99 in the United States. This is one of the second wave solo sets, released in 2018, in the summer season, or like August 1st-ish, I think, and contains a total of 5 minifigures, all of which are exclusive to this set, and it does have a little bit of interactivity with the AT hauler set, which I don't own, so you won't be seeing that functionality demonstrated in that review, but I did want to make note that it is a thing. We do have one instruction manual. It is perfect bound, and it's kind of small, which, you know, it's not too big of a deal. It's just smaller than your average set, and you do have an ad in the back for all the Summer Wave sets and all the Summer Wave minifigures. Which also shows the other 2 solo sets, including the figures from the AT hauler, and then the Cloud Rider swoop bikes, which I do have, and we'll be getting a review of that on this channel shortly. And then there's another ad that shows in a little bit more, or in a little bit larger format. It shows the ability to pick up the cargo car of the Conveyex with the AT hauler. And here is the Conveyex transport itself, the build. It is only the front end of the train and 1 car, which is a little bit unfortunate. Like, in order to make it an actual train, I feel like if you had 2 of this set, it would work together pretty well. You would need to source additional pieces from your own collection in order to get the connection between this, like this car and another one of these if you were to get a second one. So unfortunately not all of the pieces required are included, but I mean, it is what it is, and it's definitely not too hard to do. But you can remove this relatively easily. This just rests on the just rests right on there, which works. There's a whole segment of the technical beam which is left unattached to anything, so it's you have to really be like bouncing it up if you wanted to accidentally knock it off. So they stay together pretty well, but still it allows it to remain pretty easy to remove, without having to adjust anything at all. We'll remove the figures for now. You can place them on the sides of the train if you wanted to. You could place them straight sideways. There's no studs on this one, so you can't really place them on the side, kind of walking on the engine section. But for now, let's start by taking a look at the driving segment of the train. And, it's a pretty decent look for it. This back here, which is the joint, is only attached by 2 technic pins, so you can adjust the angle if you want to. I don't know what kind of functionality that has, but it does have the ball on the end to prevent it from going down too low. But there is a tread running through the entire thing. There are 77 pieces of tread there, and it runs all the way through. You can see when you lift this up, which is just basically decorative, which, appropriately, because you shouldn't be able to see all this tread. But if you do lift it up, it is nice to see the tread in there, and that it is working. And, yeah, I mean, looks pretty good. Up here, we have a little cargo compartment, really. There's nothing that you can specifically attach in there. I don't know what this is for. I know you can stick the range troopers' guns in here. You just let it rest in there. The second range trooper is currently sitting in the cockpit because that is where the range troopers are designed to sit, but they don't fit in there perfectly with their guns, so you can just stick the guns right in there. That's a nice, easy way to store them. And it's nice to have a little weapon rack. I was going to say maybe you could attach one into there, but actually I think maybe this is what it's for. Yeah. Yep. So you can attach one of the guns in like that, and you can have it stick out as a rifle or something, like to shoot enemies. But there are not 2 of those clips, so you can only do that with one of the guns. The other one can just rest in there still, though. And, you know, having that come out and be used to shoot kind of doesn't look great for appearance-wise. But with that all closed up, there's a little bit of a gap, but it's not too noticeable and doesn't really bother me. And back here we have a big sticker on a 6x6 tile. You get a total of 2 of those 6x6 tiles, and then you get another couple large stickers on the big panels on the second car. And that does just lift open and reveal a seat for your Conveyex driver, which in this case is the range troopers. I don't know if they're actual Conveyex pilot characters in the movie. We don't see them, that's for sure, but maybe in the future, you know, they'll use a different kind of figure to simulate the driving of this. And, you know, you could use the gunner as well. But you do get a stickered panel, which looks really good, actually. And that's just attached to a slope. And you can just sit him right in there, just like so. And if we turn this around, there is an identical little seat. So you can stick both of your range troopers right in there. And, you know, when they gotta come out and attack whoever's trying to fight them, they can just climb out pretty easily and, you know, stand on the roof of the train, which a lot of the action in this scene from the movie does take place on the roof of the train. And you really don't see the inside at all. And back here you can just see a little bit more of the treads here. You know, just showing all the way through. They do run all the way underneath. And, you know, they work pretty well, and it moves well, but, yeah, I don't know, you do a lot of building to get the treads in there. I think they could have kind of gone with a little bit of a cheating mechanism and just used the treads for the front and maybe just had a tire in the back, but you really don't lose much in terms of grip here, so this doesn't really bother me. And here's the cargo car, and, you know, it has a big stickered panel. There are 2 stickers applied to this big long panel. And you can just lift that up pretty easily. Inside, it will reveal several containers of coaxium in here. And, you know, you just pull the lid off, and it's got coaxium in there. They use the same build for a container in the Cloud Rider swoop bikes. So, you know, this is what represents coaxium. And you can just stick those in there. You could stick some figures inside this little area. Like, if you wanted to, you could use figures over here. They will kind of get locked when you close it up, but you can get some figures further in. I believe if we were to stick one right here, they'll be able to survive the closing of the walls. Yeah. There is also a little simulated ladder right there in the center, which you could use your figures to climb up. And then we have this little hatch here on the roof. And you can't really get your figures to fit all the way through, but I believe you can stand them if you do it just right. There are 2 studs on the inside, right down in there, and you can have your figures standing on those 2 studs, and it'll keep their heads out of the hatch. However, you can't let them like fall all the way through. You can't make them enter the little you can't make them enter the car through the hatch, but you can, you know, kind of have them sticking out. And this turret is a little weird. It does have some stud shooters on there, so it gives it some firepower, and I guess it adds a little bit of playability, but it really, I don't know, I don't remember this being on the train, and you can just remove it very easily. Some weird colors show through the bottom, but they do also suggest that you could take it and put it on the roof of the driving section if you wanted to. Or you could leave it up off entirely. It's up to you. But, you know, I mean, it is what it is. It's nice to add a little bit of extra playability, and it does give somewhere for this Death Star gunner to sit, and it just does have 4 studs there for him to sit on. But, you know, the rest of this car is got some stickers here on the front. There's a doorway here, which, again, figures really can't fit through perfectly. They have to go in sideways, and it's too short for them to enter like that, so you kind of have to lean them over anyway. That's a little bit awkward, but, you know, it's nice to have a little bit of a simulation of a door, at least. And then the other side just has the same 2 stickers, and, yeah. On the back end, where it's not connected to the front, there is a little bit of a sticker that just shows the little kind of, basically a license plate, but it's got the Star Wars Arabesh characters, and you can angle the whole train over using these slopes here. You could have it rest on the slope, and it'll kind of give it that banked look, which makes it kind of simulate the fact that it is on the curved track, kind of like a monorail track. You could also have it leaning that way. It works okay. It just kind of allows you to create a little bit of a display, but I'm not a big fan of the connecting joint. It's a little bit loose and gives it a little bit too much freedom, and it kind of, I don't know, you can't really line it up perfectly all the time. It's okay, but, I do like that you can get this kind of angle going on here, though. But you can't really, I don't know, it's not perfect, but I like the fact that it works. However, when you angle it up, facing away from you, then you're able to see the wheels which they use to allow the back car to actually move. But that does lift it off the ground a little bit. It does make it look like it's kind of hovering, which I guess is better than it just driving straight on the ground with the wheels, if they are unable to get a representation of the train track, which would have been really, really hard to do in a set like this. As I said before, all of the figures in the set are exclusive, and the torso, legs, and head here for Han are all exclusive to this set. And I think they look pretty good. I like the fur coat jacket here that he got. Looks really good to me. I think that this is probably the best version of him from Solo, aside from the one in the Millennium Falcon, just because that one's a little bit more classic and standard, but this one looks really, really good to me, and I'm happy to have this figure. I like the goggles on his face, and he does also have an alternate facial expression, which is honestly really kind of similar to the first one. He's just frowning a little bit more. I don't know, I kind of would have liked a little bit more expressiveness and a little bit more difference between the two facial expressions, but I do think that, even with the faces not being super different, I think even just having one of them with those goggles printed on there is really good, and I'm very happy with this figure. And then we have a new version of the Solo Chewie, which uses the same head sculpt as the one from the Kessel Run Millennium Falcon, but it has new printing on the head with the goggles there. And I believe the mouth expression is the same, but and also all the fur patches and printing on there. But it still looks really good, and I'm happy to get a Solo version of Chewie. I currently don't plan on getting the Millennium Falcon, so it's good to get this one. He does have a kind of rifle here built up with a gunmetal gray Star Wars blaster and then some binoculars on the end. And the leg printing is just the same as all of the other versions of Chewbacca since they've started doing the dark brown fur for him. And there's no printing on the torso underneath his specialized head mold. The Death Star Gunner is also exclusive, and this character I don't recall seeing in Solo at all. I don't think that you visibly see one on screen, and if you do, it's not up close. But I think that the design of this figure, for being a really obscure character, or a really obscure appearance of this kind of soldier, they did a really good job at printing him up. They actually have an exclusive torso and legs to this set. And, it's got the gunmetal gray color with some kind of dirt or something printed on there. And the belt on him is really good. There's some back printing on there. They did a good job with that. He does have this exclusive cut of cloth as well, which just has one hole and just, goes right around his neck. It's basically a circle with a little bit of an indentation at the front. And they use the same cut for the range troopers in the same set. And the face print for him is good, and this helmet is actually really uncommon, only appearing in this set and the Death Star, the new version of the Death Star. So that's really cool to get, actually. And I like a little bit of printing with the Imperial insignia on the front. And yeah, this figure is slightly more impressive than I was expecting it to be. They definitely put a good amount of detail into it for such an obscure thing. And last but definitely not least, we have the Range Trooper, which is an exclusive figure to this set, which, it's really cool to get an exclusive variant of a kind of trooper figure here. These are sure to be very desirable, and they did a really, really good job with these figures. The helmet mold is brand new. It's exclusive. They haven't reused it yet, as far as I know. There's really good printing down there. The visors are printed in a metallic copper color, and there's no printing around the back at all. No dual molding, but it didn't need it. And there's a little bit of printing for some scratches and scuffs on the top of the helmet as well. The rifle is actually exclusive currently in white, and it does have a little bit of an extension on there. If you mess around with it, you can, get him to hold it like that, and that looks pretty good. And yes, both of these figures are exactly the same face and everything. Again, you see that cloth piece there around the neck, which just adds a little bit to the figure, and I think it works really well. The torso and legs, again, are exclusive. They look great, and good back printing on the torso. These figures all around are really, really fantastic. It's kind of a shame that they're exclusive to the set, but, I am happy to get them here. And I guess this is obviously the set where they make the most sense. I wouldn't be surprised if in the future we end up getting a Range Trooper battle pack, but not soon, when they revisit Solo in several years. I wouldn't be surprised to see that happen. They'd honestly probably even update the Range Troopers, these ones would remain exclusive. I don't know, I think it could be a possibility. But for now, these are exclusive to the set, and if you want them, I think that, they're definitely worth getting. I don't know if you want to buy this set specifically for them, but, if you go out of your way to bricklink a couple, they're pretty cool figures. Overall, I think this set had a lot of potential. I think that the Conveyex build is pretty cool. I do think the figures in this set are awesome, and I think they did a great job with all of those. However, I think the price on this at retail, $90, is a little bit ridiculous, honestly. It's got 622 pieces. That's not a very good price to part ratio. And just volume of stuff-wise, this doesn't feel like a $90 set. I don't know, comparing it size-wise, it's got a little bit of length to it. I could see 60, definitely. I could probably see 70, but 90 is just too much. If they wanted to charge 90, they should have. Even don't have to introduce new prints, just include several more of the Range Troopers. I guess that kind of would have overcrowded the train, but still, I feel like people would be happier to get more of these for sure. It's definitely worth having two. I guess you could throw in 2 more figures to drive the set, so you could have 2 in there, plus 2 outside, and the 1 gunner. Or they could have thrown in, Beckett or any other, I guess Beckett would be the next most reasonable character to include if they weren't just including other troopers. But I think that if they upped the minifigure count, this could have been okay. I don't think that it would have been great still. I feel like it needed a second car, which, that probably would have had to raise the price, but I think that could have been reasonable. I don't know, it's just, I want to like this set because I do like the finished product. I just can't recommend it at full price. But, if you get a really good discount, I think $60 or less is fair. I got this for $38, which was a really good deal, and I'm very happy with it at that price. But, yeah, at retail price, I wouldn't recommend it. Because, honestly, I'd almost recommend getting a second one. I didn't do it myself. Maybe I should have. Because that would allow you to create kind of a more full-looking train. But, I don't know. I don't love the set enough to go out and buy a second one, is what I'll say. But, who knows, maybe I'll find a really good way to display this and then want a second one. We'll see in the future, but yeah, I do think that I'm happy with the one that I have. I don't think this is set for everybody, but if you really like Solo and you really like this scene, I think that this set is a reasonable representation of the Conveyex transport. But I don't think this is a standout Star Wars set, not one of the best of all time. I think it's a good set, and I think most of the sets based on Solo were good. But yeah, if you liked Solo, I think that this is a decent set for you, assuming you can find it at a discount. But you know, if you didn't like Solo, this is probably an easy pass. But I mean, even then, it is kind of a unique Star Wars vehicle, and those range troopers are awesome. But yeah. Anyway, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys all next time. Let me know what you think of this set in the comment section down below. Bye, everyone.